Coming back the next day, and I got a few more parts in. Not all the parts I'm looking for. I still got a lot of resistors coming, but I did get this. Actually, I got two of these. So this will be going here to replace the cap. This is in the reverb circuit, and it calls for a 0.003 microfarad cap. And so these are, well, it would have been a disc cap like this originally, and it was obviously replaced with this 0.002. I just want to get a disc cap in there. Unfortunately, nobody really makes a 0.003 microfarad disc cap. It took me a while to find anybody that did. And then when I did, I looked on eBay and I found these. So there's a pack of two. These are kind of vintage NOS, I guess, caps. They are 0.0039 at 1 kilovolt. So we're going to go ahead. I know this is not a perfect measurement on this device, but we'll just do it anyways and just see what it comes up as. So it is 3.3 nanofarads, which is equivalent to 0.0033 microfarads. So perfect. So we'll go ahead and remove this cap and install this new one. So there that is, some cap from Japan, 0.002 at 600 volts. So let's go ahead and clean up these eyelets and we'll install that cap. All right, so I've got those two eyelets cleaned out. We can go ahead and figure out how long we need the lead length to be. Probably not very long. All right, so now I'm just going to bend over the edges here. All right, that should be good. Perfect. So let's go ahead and solder that in. Here we go. Add a little bit more solder to this one. And we're good to go. So a new reverb cap. Not sure what the term is for that. Coupling cap, something like that. Installed. Cool. So now, I guess the next thing we'll work on is just shortening these leads here and just kind of getting all this dialed in a bit more. TBD, if I'm keeping these, like I said, I've got new resistors coming in. I've got enough to replace every single resistor in the amp if need be. So, all right, I'm gonna grab some food, come back, and we'll do that. Just out of curiosity, I wanted to measure the cap that the previous tech put in here. 0.002 microfarad, as mentioned, it should be a 0.003. And it actually measures about half of what it should. So it's 1.7 nanofarad, which is basically 0.0017 nanofarad. So I'm not sure how that affects tone. I don't know enough about these circuits yet to be able to make a statement like that, but it's half what it should have been. So I think that's a good replacement. All right, let's see what this resistor measures. So it's right there. I don't know if you can see that or not, but right there is correct, 1 meg. So we can continue to use this. I'm just going to cut the leads and actually install it properly so that it's not so long. All right, so let's go ahead and clean up these slots. All right, so what I'm doing here, I had the same issue over here. Basically, it looks like you can only fit a max of 5 leads through an eyelet. So here and here, I need to fit more. Well, this one I need to fit exactly 5. This one actually has 6 leads because this wire, as I've learned right here, apparently this ground wire was originally the long lead of the cap that was here. So it just continued from the cap that was here and then ran to the brass grounding plate there. Obviously, since I've gotten it, the cap is no longer there, so they just snipped that wire, which was the ground lead, and installed new caps there. So as a result, there's now 6 that need to fit here. This resistor, I pointed out with my little dental pick thing here. So you've got this resistor, that's 1, this resistor 2, this resistor 3, ground 4. There's another connection here that goes under the board, that's 5, and then the ground connection on the electrolytics would be 6. So I think what I'm going to do is just wrap this resistor lead around this resistor here, solder them together. I'm trying to get a good mechanical connection, but I think that's going to be the plan there. Now this resistor is going to be replaced once I get the new resistors in, so I'm not really worrying about it right now, but that's the plan there. For here, there's also 5 connections. So you've got, again, the ground connection on the cap. You got this resistor, this resistor, this resistor, and then the ground itself. So I'm just trying to make sure that there's enough room in the eyelet to be able to fit the ground connection of this cap. And there is just barely right here in the corner. If you kind of finagle it a little bit. So I'm just trying to give as much room as I can to be able to get it all fit in there. I'm not going to solder right now, obviously, until it's ready, but you can see it's in there. So that's the plan, is to just be able to get that to fit everything just kind of harmoniously in there. These resistors are probably going to be replaced as well. I haven't measured them, so I'll probably measure them real quick, but I just want it all to be matching. I don't know, these two are different types. And then these were just placed really terribly and cut really terribly, so those will be replaced as well once I get the new resistors in, hopefully soon. So, and then obviously this connection here is not a firm connection. I'm just going to solder this in because there's nothing else going there. So I'll get this one proper. There we go. So that's solid. Then these will just kind of wait, but let's go ahead and measure them real quick and pull out the schematic to confirm what they're supposed to be. I've already measured them all, but that was in circuit. I don't know enough to know when where that doesn't work, other than I know the input resistors here will not measure correctly in circuit, but these I think should be fine, but just to double check. So that's 840 ohm. Let's pull up the schematic. And let's see. There's the double, there's the double. So this one should measure, if I put it like this, you guys might be able to see it. So I'll use this again. So this resistor here that goes like that is this resistor here in the schematic. So that's 820 ohm, 830. That's fine. Let's check this other one. That one should be a 2200 ohm, and it's a 2300. So that one's also fine. So they measure fine. I'm just not sure if I'm going to keep them. This should go under the wire, I believe. So I'll probably redo that one as well. These don't look good. These are terrible. This one. Got my work cut out for me on this amp. So this one measured quite off when I measured it in circuit. This was it's supposed to be, let's see, I believe it's supposed to be an 82K. I have down that I measured 1.3 mega ohms, and yep, it does. So this is not even remotely close to what it should be. So that will go in the trash. I think I'll probably lift this end of the blue molded and get all those cleaned up. Really, honestly, most of what I'm just doing now is kind of just in prep of getting all of the resistors in, because I don't want to invest too much time into getting everything dialed like this if I'm just gonna, if I'm just gonna replace the resistors anyways. So, but these are crazy. So we'll go ahead and lift this lead and then we can reset these. Fully cleaned out. Now we can reseat this. Let's go ahead and measure this resistor here. So this resistor should be 240K, pretty close. This crazy lead length though, I don't understand. Like why it's so lazy. So let's go ahead and remove the other leg. This one, let's see what it measures. So this should also be a 220K. And it measures 240. So again, pretty close. But two different brand carbon comps here. I believe I did get some 220K in the recent resistor shipment. There's a lot more coming, so let me check my stash and see if I've got two matched pairs. All right, I've got two fresh 220Ks here, so we'll go ahead and install those there and there, and I will be feeding it under this wire instead of going over. So one thing that I don't know, I might just look up, see if I can find a photo of an original, is the orientation these are supposed to have. It looks like, I'm pretty sure some of these resistors are original, like this one right here, these ones right here. They all look the same to me. And the solder joints over here all look original. So it looks like the tolerance band is facing towards the preamp tubes and going towards ground is the other bands. So I think I'm gonna try and be mindful of that going forward and install them like that. So these two will go in like that. All right, those are placed now. Now we can get the blue molded caps back in. So we'll go ahead and fill this eyelet now. And now I'm going to go ahead and lift this up so I can reach this eyelet over here. I don't know if you'll be able to see that at all, but it's too much work to move the camera for every little thing I do, so we'll just leave it. Just like it was before. And by before I mean originally versus the guy before me and what he did. All right, much better. We're getting there. This one I should have done before. Silly me. Let me just make sure. Oh, it's that resistor. It's supposed to go there. So what was that supposed to be? This is supposed to be an 82K. Let me see if I have an 82K. I do, but they're these type, what are they called? Carbon film, something like that. I'm obviously not going to install that because that doesn't fit the amp. So we got to wait on that. What else can we fix? This is flying for no reason. Let's fix this one. So this resistor right here, so it should be 220K, 100K, 10 meg. So let's get this 10 meg so it's not flying in the air like that. And I'm going to flip it around too, since the rest have the silver or the tolerance band. The rest of the ones that look original, at least to me, going that way. Let's measure it, see what this measures roughly. So that's fine. It's so hard to do when there's so many leads and solder already in there. So I think I'm just going to clean this joint out. Let's measure what this is supposed to be. So it should be a 220K. And it is. So that's fine. All right. That was a really stubborn wire right there. It's because the board is flexed so much. It's got this massive ramp that this wire's stretched beyond what it normally would be. But it fit fine. So these are fine. I'm going to get this one a bit more on this side. Ignore my dog in the background. Just having fun playing with my wife. All right, so now we just got to get this one in and we're good to go on those. This is just a really tricky angle to reach. Trying so hard not to roast this cap here. So I'm gonna let that cool and then I'm gonna reseat it a little bit better, but that's much better. And then now this is going over the resistor like it is in other places, such as here and here. So, all right, what else should we do? Like I said, I don't really want to mess with this stuff yet because I'm going to be replacing these. So I guess really this is pretty ugly here. So let's redo this. Wow, this resistor here, I don't know if you can see that, it doesn't actually have enough lead to go into this. So this resistor is definitely getting replaced. Let's go ahead and measure what they read and check the schematic, what they're supposed to be. But I'm glad I checked that. 820 ohm, which it is. So that one's fine. However, this one, let's see what this one with the broken lead is supposed to measure. If I can even reach it. That one's supposed to measure 22K, so it's close. Measures 23K, but it's broken, doesn't reach, so we're gonna have to remove it. Wow. It wasn't even in on that side either. That is terrible. So that's going in the trash. Might as well lift all these leads up as well and double check them. These are in the way, so let me lift this one up. It's interesting, this blue molded cap has the black line this way, which I think these are I'm not sure, but I noticed all the black lines on them going that way, except for this one was opposite. I'm gonna try and find a photo of an original to confirm that's correct. There we go. Now it's all cleaned out. Okay. So, to recap, here's where we're at. I think we're going to end here. Replaced these resistors here. This resistor right here, I'm waiting on a replacement for. I don't have a replacement in yet. This middle one will likely get replaced. These two are fine. Redid the connection here since it was so bad. The leads are super long. Fixed the long lead on this resistor here that's under the blue molded. These are not obviously soldered in yet, just kind of holding. And then what else did I do? Fix this lead right here. Shorten the leads here on this one, and I think this one as well. Shorten the leads on that one. We put in this new old stock 0.003 microfarad cap for the reverb circuit. Trying to think if there's anything else I missed, maybe, but overall I think pretty successful. I also kind of redid these connections and just made them a bit better. So I think that's where we're going to end today. One thing that I do notice that I don't really know how to do is the original solder joints have this kind of nice little solder bubble. It's kind of, I don't know, a dome, whatever you want to call it. So it makes it kind of easy to identify where the original solder joints are. And I don't know how to do that. I feel like when I'm adding more solder, it's just pulling in underneath the rivet versus going up on top of it. So if anyone has any tips on how to do that, I'd kind of like to replicate it a bit more. I think my solder joints are strong and sturdy and reliable, but visually it's kind of cool having the little dome there. So, all right, guys, we'll end there, and fingers crossed the rest of the components I need will come in tomorrow so that I can wrap this project up and we can finally hear it. So thanks if you guys have stuck around this long. Appreciate it. This is a fun little project, so I appreciate you guys tagging along. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys next time.